Hi everyone, I'm Abhilash and I'm sure you have been following the Career Talkie with Abhilash. And in my many recent episodes, I've spoken about multiple career journeys, bringing in many career leaders from different sector, different job roles, where we speak about their career journey, where we speak about what led to what, how did their career progression stand, what was their story to understand and relate more of exactly can we learn from their sector something can be applicable to us. With that intention, I have tried to reach out to multiple career leaders, and especially in those areas where we somehow we see it but we don't feel that that is a career, that is a responsible thing. I would like to tell a small story. Recently, in one of my flight, I sat across a person from US, and he was visiting India. He was a travel blogger, and he showed me an excitement of saying that he's coming to India, and he didn't talk just about Taj Mahal, or he didn't speak just about all the big prominent places that globally India is aware of. He started talking about that before going to any part of this country, he visits museum to understand the culture, to understand what is the story behind. And in a museum, if there are 20 departments, 20 areas to visit, which all places are there, he should visit in that country. And that is what the travel blogger does for every country he visits or creates a video about. Now I got excited because what happened is museum or going to museum was just an activity of school life. That is what I remember. Then I thought if foreigners are giving so much importance and that is the methodology of knowing a country, do we have something like that in current thing? Because I think last 20 years I have not gone to, after the career or professional world, I have never been to any museum as such, not for even outing. We've gone to art galleries, we've gone to certain sponsored events. I've definitely gone to Golconda, I've definitely gone to the Light and Sound Museum like that, wherever those activities happen in historical sites. But I never actually felt that those are, I felt that okay, it's a part of the package, but nothing as much thoughtful around it. I went to a weapon museum in Jaipur. I went to many such places. But then what happened, what led to this guy, I thought that how do people engage in that kind of job role? What exactly is there in India? I have read that India had some biggest, largest museum of the world, and many collections of centuries are over there with so many stories. Who are the people behind it? That got me very much, curious to understand what kind of careers are there. And today, I'm very fortunate while I was doing thinking my research, thanks to that travel blogger, I happened to connect to my today's guest, and I would like to introduce Mr. Rajesh Purohit, sir. He's the former director, Museum Government of India. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Thank you for your time. I will take another 2 minutes all to just introduce you and your work to our audience. And it's really an honor for us, for all the viewers that I could get or I could actually meet with Mr. Raj Purohit in our podcast today. His distinguished career spanning over 3 decades, 35 years, Mr. Purohit has made invaluable contribution to the field of museology, particularly in the preservation and curation of India's rich culture and heritage. जिसकी हम बड़ा प्राउड करते हैं कि इंडिया सिविलाइजेशन हैज बीन देयर सिंस सो मेनी इयर्स, 5000 ईयर की हिस्ट्री है, न्यूमिस्मेटिक्स, कॉइन्स, सील्स, ये सब कैसे पता चलता है, विल ऑल टॉक अबाउट एवरीथिंग. His journey includes 20 years as a curator. What does curator mean? ये भी हम समझेंगे. And he has also been the director of Museum of National Importance under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India for the last 10 years. His expertise extends across a wide spectrum from archaeological antiquities to art treasures, from designing and setting up museum galleries to curating storytelling exhibitions on the themes like the Mahabharata. His work has taken him to institutions of international repute, including the Indian Museum in Kolkata and the Allahabad Museum in Prayagraj. And let me tell you, these are the some of the world's largest museum. They're counted in world's largest museum. He has also represented India on global platform, participating in various programs and various conferences in London, Chicago, New York, and Beijing. Somebody who has taken in or ambassador, brand ambassador of India's archaeological expertise across the global platform. And we are very fortunate that I could get him today because he's not just somebody I'm talking about as a professional achievement. He's also very, very academically inclined, has written several books and articles on Indian art, culture, and religion. And I would request you to also follow him in LinkedIn because he puts a small, small story of, steals or all these historical facts which make you curious that yes, there is a story behind every thing, artifact which comes, and he keeps on posting it regularly. And today, I'm very honored, also, in fact, feels very privileged that today I would have a conversation time with him to understand his experience and his journey, his career journey, which surely is going to be very, very enlightening for all of us listeners. Welcome to the show, sir. We are very, very delighted and thrilled to have you, sir.
Thank you.
And I would
Thank you so much.
apologize if I missed out on something,
No, no, you
but
have not missed out. You have aptly quoted me whatever you felt or knew from the website. I'm truly excited to be here, and uh, just a couple of days you informed me, and I got agreed to your proposal. And today we will have the conversation. I would like to listen from you that what are your queries about uh, the the museums and the archaeological artifacts, because in your brief introduction you have almost covered all the things that a visitor would like to have when he visits a museum. The American with whom you encountered in the flight is definitely an interesting personality, in the sense, if anybody who wants to know about any place or any country or any part of the world, the very first visit he should make is he should visit a museum, because museum is a space where several things are happening. But if it is not happening, then it's not a museum. Unfortunately, most of our museums in our country are receiving audience who are very, very casual visitors. But addressing them is also a huge challenge. How to sensitize them about their culture, if they are not seeing the things interestingly, or if they are not getting excited about seeing things, the fault is not with the audience. This you must bear in mind, that it is the responsibility of the curator, who not only curates that exhibition but also keeps in minding that story that he is telling should be inclusive in nature, should be a cross section of people should get benefit of it, not that a specific kind or a specific variety of people. Because in earlier times, museums are very expensive affair. I mean, that's why they were called as curios, and I mean places of curiosity. And that's why in India, the one of the oldest museums where I served, a Indian museum, is called Jadughar. Jadughar means the magic house. It's really creates magic. It's really creates magic. Every artifact that you see showcased in the gallery has a very, very important story to tell. But these are all mute objects. They cannot tell you a story. The curator's responsibility is to play the role of an interface between the exhibits and the audience. It is not that the curator will tell a story uh, which is not authentic, because museums are considered to be a visual library, and the visual history is seen in the museum. You haven't seen Napoleon, but when you see a painting depicting Napoleon's warfare, you are not simply excited seeing them, but would try to reveal the personality of Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte. And there lies the very important role of a curator, how he would play the role of an interpreter to, I mean, tell the story about Napoleon through that particular exhibits. So these are very challenging job. So it is primarily why I'm telling you, because it is not happening in our many of our museums. And earlier the the curator is also, it's not only a storyteller, it's also an author, or a I mean script writer, uh, and he should have a thorough knowledge about that artifact, not only the collections, but also the environment in which a particular artifact is made, what were the contemporary situation at that period of time, who were the craftsmen, how did they learn the skills, how these skills are indigenous or it is migrated. Because very often you see the same stone tool which was used by the African people are used in India when we encountered, found them in the Narmada Valley, or in Tamil Nadu. There is a place which is as old as the Old White Gorge of Tanzania, where the first man and his antiquities were found. And the technology, what we call, is a technology which is named after a place in Europe called Saint Ashul, and it is called Ashulian technology. It's a stone tool making technology. So the same technology is available in India, in both in Western India, is in the southern part of India, and very close to Delhi there is a site called Anandpur. I must tell you that you forgot to mention me. What am I exactly? I'm basically a, I am basically I'm basically a field archaeologist who have been a museum curator, director, and but my my primary introduction is that I'm a field archaeologist.
So
So,
I want to take a pause here
ah,
before we go to the on the field of activities.
hmm.
My first question: how did you come to that field?
Yes,
Sir, your little bit about your
yes.
background.
When
Your what did you
I will.
your the first phase of your life from your school to the career which you
Yes,
choose as an
yes.
archaeologist. We want to understand that. and then we'll come to
So
the your career or what you did as a
there
freelancer.
are many topsy turvy in my entire life. When I was in a school, I was initially I was a very shy. I mean, the day I mean, I started my schooling at the age of 6 years, and directly entered into class two. So, um, because of my physical problems during my birth and thereafter, I had a operation, and after operation, only I, at the age of 6, otherwise the people in those days used to go at the age of 5. My brothers and my nieces and my nephews have gone at the age of 3. My daughters have started their education at the age of 3. Because in those days, upper KG, lower KG, nursery, I mean, so many things were there. So I was little bit shy when I was studying in school, but slowly I become very popular because of my activities and all that. I always used to participate in various activities and all that. And when I was studying sixth, from sixth standard to 11th standard, we had in those days matriculation as 11th. And so it is called higher secondary or whatever you call nowadays. So from 6th to 11th, I was the school monitor. So that was the beginning of my leadership. I have been a leader all through my life. I never wanted to be subservient to anybody. This is a psychological problem which I have. I always wanted to be, I should be the leader. And I always remained as a leader. When I entered into universities, I was the vice president of the Students' Union. So leadership is very much there with me, and I used to help all my friends. I used to be there everywhere. So that quality, and I was there as a NCC cadet also. In when I was a cadet and in the national cadet, the school during my school days, uh, I became a sergeant. um, I was a very lean and thin guy, but I used to shout a lot and do a lot of seeing the leadership and all that. So when I was in school, I was a movie watcher. I'm damn crazy about watching movies, especially English movies. And in my place, lots of movies used to be released on Sundays and Saturdays as morning shows. So I saw one of the movies which is about archaeological investigations. Then I that struck into my mind that how these people are. I thought that I will not become an engineer or a doctor, nor I had any interest towards it. Though every parents wanted that their children should study after matriculation, they should. I mean, they all tried, but I neither I was interested nor I could clear, but I could not get a seat because of the kind of marks which I had uh, during my studies, school days studies. But you never know what would happen uh, in the long course of time. So after that, I had chosen when I joined the college. I had chosen two subjects. One is called anthropology, and the other one is history. So these two subjects are interrelated. And when I was an anthropology student, we were studying in a college. Anthropology department wise, it is one of the oldest colleges in India. So we have got very good tools, very good bone collections, very good implements, all archaeological things, anthropological things. So I was very impressed, very much impressed by those uh,
Sir,
anthropological
sir,
studies. Hmm.
for our audience, can you little bit talk, say what is anthropology all about? They
Anthropology,
will then relate.
is the study of man. Man, both as a physical being as well as a cultural being. So the cultural part is dealt with the artifacts, the culture, the evolution of culture, the architecture, the art, the painting, and all these things, and how these things are seen in our contemporary time with the ethnic society who are still following the same thing what a prehistoric man used to do. So the prehistoric archaeology was my favorite subject. So I studied anthropology from beginning to end. When I studied honors, I had history honors and anthropology. Anthropology always I kept. When I was studying in the Institute of Archaeology, it was very much an integral part of archaeological anthropological study was very much integrated with archaeological studies. So subject wise, I was perfectly ready for pursuing a career in archaeology. Then but my parents were insisting either you should try for civil services, because in Odisha every parents first they will try for engineers and doctors. If they don't, then they will ask that you go for civil service preparation. So I started civil service preparation, but never um, liked it or never took any serious interest in, because that of course helped me for clearing my examination, competitive examinations for other services. I was offered a government college job as lecturer after passing out my MPhil. I did my MPhil in history. So I had a good career from college onwards, though school was not my good time. And always stood first in the university. And best of the two. I was considered as one of the best of the students of the university in the postgraduate and MPhil level. So, but one fine day, I got a news that there has been an advertisement for the post of trainee archaeologist, where Archaeological Survey of India is recruiting after a written test and viva voce for a trainee archaeologist, 2 years course, professional archaeology course. So that was the I mean, turning point of my life. So there it was finally fridged that I would pursue this career. And in those days, you will not believe me, I still have those documents. You had to sign, it is a Government of India institution. You had to sign a bond that after this course, because the Government of India is spending a lot of money for 14 to 15 archaeologists every year to make them full-fledged professional archaeologists. So they used to take the entire country to visit entire country, visit all labs, do excavation for more than 4 months at various places, conservation of monuments, at various places, and the prehistoric and archaeological studies, the architectural studies. So it is a multifaceted study. Archaeology,
चलिए अभी भी होता है, इज इट
yes,
currently
even
also?
though the standard has not been that of that level, but still now, of course, many of the IITs have started uh, uh, teaching archaeology, and uh, students are pursuing. For example, Gandhinagar IIT has. Then you have Kharagpur IIT, and Bhubaneswar IIT is also introducing. So there are lots of opportunity for pursuing quality education and field training. But the best place, of course, is Archaeological Survey of India, where from we had our training.
Done. So I would like to know, I understand that I understood you had a good after your educational career, and you were anthropologist, history, both of them together were there, and then you did your MPhil, and you got an opportunity to train yourself from AS Archaeology Survey of India as a
We had the
in this.
best of the archaeologists. Those who are not alive today, they are professionally trained by the British archaeologists.
Exactly. I was coming to what were your mentors when you went to the field. I'm sure
I I
somebody
must
would be
I
there.
must because I was very much interested in prehistoric studies, study of the prehistoric people. So my real mentor was my director. There were two directors, one after another. They succeeded. One of them is Dr. K.D. Banerjee, who is an internationally known prehistorian, a geologist, who virtually taught us what prehistory is all about. And nobody had that opportunity. Those who were the students of Dr. K.D. Banerjee can only understand what kind of teaching we had in those days, and thereafter, the we have a very eminent prehistorian who happened to be our senior and very senior colleague, is Dr. Ota. Now he is having his own institute at Vidisa near Bhopal. He's a very eminent prehistorian, and in fact, I wanted to pursue prehistory under him, but I could not get an opportunity. I visited Nagpur where he was posted, but very often we used to read his articles and used to meet him, and he used to tell many things about. So he's one of the best prehistorians that Odisha has ever produced. So and we have a very fantastic director in the institute, Dr. B.M. Pandey, who is a versatile personality. You just simply can talk anything about any aspects of knowledge. He's a very knowledgeable person, very caring, and I always remember him for his care and attention to the students. And he was just like a fatherly figure to me, and he always encouraged me. I still remember the institute days. Then we had many stalwarts like this Pandeji. We have B.K. Thapar, a very eminent archaeologist in there. Dr. B.B. Lal, who is known as the father of
Yeah, yeah.
archaeology. And then Y.D. Sarma, and very eminent archaeologist. And then we have some wonderful people from Deccan College like Dr. Badam, Dr. Rajguru, Dr. Padaya, who is a very eminent prehistorian. He has visited my museum earlier and gifted me his latest book on prehistory. So, I mean, uh, the kind of education that we have in each and every sphere of knowledge, which are required for becoming a true archaeologist, a true free, uh, archaeologist, field archaeologist, are the, I mean, these are the wonderful people that we had. And another archaeologist, I mean, these are the archaeologists who have done great work, like Dr. S.R. Rao, who is a pioneer in marine archaeology, and he used to love me like anything. Then we had J.P. Joshi, who was our Director General those days. Then M.C. Joshi, he was also our Director General. Then I mean, these are the gems. I mean, the history will never forget their works and the contribution what they did to India. Similarly, in the art, iconography, and all these things in numismatics, we had a wonderful scholar who taught us numismatics. Is Dr. Lahiri from Calcutta University, and we had the best of the people in art and aesthetics, and under whom I had my first began my first career is Dr. Priyotos Banerjee, who happened to be the assistant director, retired from National Museum. And I mean, so many wonderful people. The list is never ending, and these are the people who have contributed what Indian archaeology is today is all about. And I'm fortunate because I was one of those archaeologists who had the opportunity to learn, and learning. I'm still learning. Nowadays the new trend has come, new phase of archaeology, and applied archaeology has entered into a new stage now. uh, the archaeology is connected with geology. We call it geoarchaeology. And then geoarchaeology is very important. My last work, being an archaeologist when I was there in Kurukshetra, was searching for the lost river, River Saraswati. And I searched a riverbed based on the satellite imageries that we could procure from Jodhpur. I worked along with ISRO and ONGC people, and together we worked on the lost river Saraswati in the northern India, especially in the Haryana region. And we are still working on this project. And Haryana, of course, has given me, it is my karma bhumi where I spent 2 decades of my life. um, Not only I did my excavation, exploration, and all these things there, but I also had the opportunity to start my career as an assistant curator. And within a few years I became a curator, then became a deputy director, then I switched over to Ministry of Culture as a director. And from 2011 to 2021, I remained as director, almost of 11, 10, 11 years as full-fledged director. And for a longer time, I had the responsibility of running two important museums: the Museum of National Importance Allahabad Museum and Indian Museum, Calcutta. So this is how I had the opportunity to. But every day I remember when I was there in Haryana, every Monday used to be our holiday because Sunday and Saturday.
ASI का हॉलीडे मंडे होता है सर.
So Monday.
Archaeology sites are also closed.
So Monday I used to go to various sites. On foot you'll have to travel, and sometimes you used to get a. I revisited those areas. What Sir Alexander Cunningham is known as the father of Indian archaeology, the first Director General of Survey of India, and also the Archaeological Survey of India. He is the man who worked on all those mythological and historical sites like the Ramayana, Mahabharata, and the Buddhist stories. So I revisited the Kurukshetra because I was posted there. So Kurukshetra is an enigma for every Indian. Every Indian is curious to know whether or not the Mahabharata was fought there, whether such weapons were used or not. So, I mean, there are many such exciting stories, and I had the opportunity to dig, excavate in many of the areas in Kurukshetra. Astounding. So many artifacts have been unearthed, which will, definitely compel you to believe that yes, we had a civilization of more than 5,000 years, more than 5,000. Say about now the date to 10,000 years, and we had these the epic stories which are so penetrating and so so much influence it has thrown on the public or the people of India, that you cannot segregate them as a mythology. I don't consider it to be a mythology. I still consider that there is a lot of truth about the history of these two periods. But you need to have a lot of a colossal work needs to be done to establish the stories.
I wanted to come there, sir. That while you spoke about your career journey, you dropped couple of stories, a couple more stories which are very interesting. One is about the Saraswati bed, which I wanted to stop you there, understand that. And second is about Kurukshetra, which you are currently talking about, unearthing of artifacts. And everybody is curious about, sir, what happens these days? A lot of book writers, authors take the backdrop of unearthing something, unearthing, they kind of match the clues across India. And these are some plots they do use as a fiction to make you realize that that culturally we are there, heritage wise we are there together. India, the entire geographical India, from north, south, east, west, some or other artifacts are related to each other. And that even in those eras of 3,000, 4,000 years back, they were connected. There was a communication bridge. Lot of art and a lot of materials trades were happening within the country, or in the name of Krishna or that period, whatever it is. But sir, I am very short of time, and because I have a request for you, sir, because I want to spend more time on each of the story. I want to understand your, because what you spoke also kind of enlightened me on, can I call it as a career in heritage? Because archaeology will not be just the only word, because now you are speaking of something which all of us identify as Indian heritage, not just about prehistory, not just about artifacts, but we call it as a culture. We call it as a, what is that? How do I, if I tell to my young students who are in class ninth, 10th, can I call this as a career in heritage, and then we can bifurcate to
Yes,
archaeological
yes,
sites like
yes.
that? Can you
You
enlighten
put
on
them,
that for?
you put them under a sector. called heritage sector, like tourism sector. You call it heritage sector, and this heritage sector has immense opportunity, and there are hundreds of institutions which will offer you jobs, and jobs can be created. And there are, other than these, there are private agencies who can also, and I mean, the entrepreneurship is missing in India in this sector. If they come out, uh, jobs will be plenty, because the requirement and the demand is so much. Especially for the last 10 years, the government has taken a lot of interest in building up museums, and many museums in a period of 10 years, many kinds of many museums have come. But now these museums are to be sustained, and they can sustain only when appropriate people are engaged there, and trained, skilled people are working there, and dedicated museum loving professionals should be posted there. Otherwise, you cannot run the show, and if the museum doesn't run, slowly it will decay, it
Yeah.
will decline.
That was any startup, sir,
uh,
any organization.
yes.
So as a, I want to. I mean, as today we have to close this engagement because we are kind of shorting on time. My first request, I would request for your more time. I will come more on topics where we can discuss, because you also spoke about stone tool. You spoke about how do you date. I have so much curiosity to understand everything, but in 140 minutes of conversation, I think I cannot get many things from you. I would request for more time from you, so that we go episode on various questions, which as a introductory session I could understand that I have to ask and know more. But on the last word, I would like also to so what is the scope of uh, I mean, for some, is it like people only from history background have to join, or what kind
No,
of
no, not at all. When I was there in the Institute, Indian Museum, Calcutta, I invited children, adults, old age people, women. Uh, I mean, anybody who is interested to know about art, culture, religion, philosophy, archaeology, prehistory, you name it. There were two courses were introduced. One is called the Applied and Field Archaeology, and the other one is Appreciation of Art, Art Appreciation course.
oh wow,
I had introduced these two courses in Allahabad as well, Kurukshetra as well. So I had prepared, 35 years, the children who used to visit for participating in these workshops now are archaeologists. So I have a huge audience in India, especially in Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, where the children have grown up, and when I meet them, they used to say, sir, we used to come to your lecture, and now we are becoming archaeologists and pursuing archaeology as a career. So
wow,
this is how you have to create audience, you audience for the future generation. I mean, these are the
absolutely.
audience which I had created. They are not simply audience. Now they will carry
No,
forward what we did in our times.
fantastic, sir. That's a great effort. Sir, abhi bhi available like that appreciating art, and
Art
when these
appreciation.
are
Now many of the institutions have started it, but remember, you can start a course, but that kind of passion that I should teach, I should educate. If it is not there, it is just a general lecture only. just
Also,
giving
I
a
was just
general
thinking.
lecture won't. We can have online courses also uh, for training, except yes, nothing. History is nothing but a particular space at a particular time. Something had happened which has been chronicled, recorded, or buried, and now unearthed, and systematic analysis can give you a 100% true history, real history to the people. History is not merely story, but it is the life and the experience of the people of that particular space and time. So, in that context, we will be talking about, if at all, Mahabharata was a history, how it is an history, how it is not a mythology, and what is mythology, why mythology is treated as subservient to history, why not mythology is history. So we will be discussing about and eliminate all these confusion which the people have in their mind.
Thank you so much for being so welcoming. You instantly agreed upon it, but I'm very happy that like I'm also would like to tell all my audience that आपके मन में भी ऐसे सवाल होंगे जब आप हिस्ट्री के बारे में या कोई भी आर्कियोलॉजिकल साइट में जाते हैं एंड मैनी थिंग्स आप वहाँ पूछ नहीं पाते मे बी वट एवर बी द रीजन और हम ये देखते रहते हैं कि भाई गर्मी बहुत हो रही है, टॉयलेट फैसिलिटी नहीं है, ये नहीं, हम वो सब चीज़ों में थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा ध्यान दे लेते हैं, खाने में क्या मिलेगा, ये सब चीज़ों पे ज़्यादा ध्यान देते हैं कि इतना महंगा टिकट क्यों है। बट टू बी वेरी फ्रैंक, वो पर्पस वहाँ जाना जो है वो है अबाउट नोइंग आवर कल्चर, आवर हेरिटेज, एज सर mentioned about the career in heritage sector overall. If you have any query after watching our episode today, do let us know. All the connecting links are there in the description. You can reach out to me and I'm definitely going to pose it to sir, and as sir agreed कि हम धीरे धीरे एक एक छोटे छोटे एपिसोड में about our art, culture, history, we will talk about the entire India, entire world, and the prominence of जिसपे आपको गौरवान्वित होना चाहिए. You should feel pride about that what India in history or Bharat in history and Bharat today we are standing by it, how we should preserve it for our future. And with this, I would like to thank all of you for watching the episode. I would like to thank Purohit sir for his time, and in a very short notice, he agreed as we discussed in the initial introductory type, and his amount of knowledge and the depth of knowledge, and I'm very impressed. Like a student and very curious, enthusiastic and curious student, I actually forgot that
Absolutely,
we are in
absolutely.
a session, a podcast, and I continued kind of listening to his stories, and the time passed by. But I would like more of him, more of his stories, more of about our history and culture, and from his career journey and inspirational, as he mentioned, topsy and turvy, about his work and about the story of India and history from him. Thank you, sir, for your time. Um, I feel very honored, and as you mentioned about Odisha, as you mentioned about every time I feel that we have a scope of creating something new, and that new comes from the knowledge. And today, आज जब मैं आपसे मुखातिब हो रहा हूँ, जब आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, I feel like that you spoke of Haryana, you spoke of the contribution of these places in your career. uh, I felt similar line of appreciation that ki, uh, some or other way I have also been born and brought up in Aurangabad, another historic city with so many historical culture in Maharashtra, and I have got the opportunity to be in Chennai, Mahabalipuram, and Pancharatha, where he mentioned there. While you were talking, I was recalling that कुछ तो हो why we all go to such places. मतलब I had the opportunity to be there, but that place also calls you. एक attraction रह जाता है. And I got really, I could not, I mean, say, इतना जल्दी time चला गया. It's already been an hour that we have been
Same
interacting.
here. Have a wonderful time, and looking forward to see you once again.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Have
God
a
bless
great
you.
evening, sir.
Namaste.
Uh, so my audience today, आज हमने देखा about our, as sir mentioned about करियर इन हेरिटेज सेक्टर. हम इसके बारे में और जानेंगे, आर्कियोलॉजी के बारे में जानेंगे, म्यूजियम के बारे में जानेंगे. वी विल अंडरस्टैंड एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट, एंड व्हाइल वी डू दैट वी विल आल्सो नो अबाउट द स्टोरीज ऑफ दिस वेरियस. सर ने जैसे सरस्वती बेट की बात की, माइथोलॉजी और हिस्ट्री में डिफरेंस क्या, वी विल ऑल डू दैट. इफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड, प्लीज सब्सक्राइब टू अस and keep writing on the comments. It inspires us and me to ask more and know more about fields which I also investigate. So please stay subscribed. And जो भी आपके सवाल आते हैं, if you want to ask people or career leaders, do let me know. Everything is available in description. How do you connect to me? And you can use the email or the live chat function or the comment section to write your thoughts. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.